I am a survivor of the Columbine shooting. I was a student, a senior in April of 1999, and now I teach bilingual kindergarten. I was at lunch and there was loud noise in the cafeteria and we didn't really know what was going on. I went under the tables with most of the students because we heard yelling and get down. Something happened, somebody said something, or we knew that there were guns, and so a lot of students ran outside and I ran upstairs and went into one of the first rooms that was there, just was trying to get away from noise and shooting that was happening. And a friend and I went into a science classroom. For about 3 hours, we were one of the last groups that the SWAT team came and got out. Had a fire alarm going off for most of the time over sounds of bombs and guns that went on for a while. There were students in the room who thought maybe they were going to die, and they were writing letters home to their parents, and I just was thinking, I don't think I can do that right now. My parents know I love them, so I played games with a friend. The worst fear I had was when we finally got to leave the room, because the SWAT team came in and did their job and were informing us there could be people hiding up in the ceiling and you have to cover your heads and run down the hall. And so that part was when I felt the most panicky. But as a mother and a teacher, I bring my faith and my religious beliefs into how I feel about gun control. In general, I try to live a life of peace. I don't have weapons and I don't own them personally. So I think that the more we can be aware of safety with guns would be useful for people. With the continued school shootings, I find it saddening every time, and I find it interesting the way that the country has reacted after different ones. It seems like, and the one in Parkland, people really have seemed to politically and social activism-wise have seemed to relate. I think the conversation about teachers being armed is not a new one. I just think it's gotten more recognition recently. The same thing was said 19 years ago after the Columbine shooting, and I remember distinctly my reaction because my friends and I laughed. We thought it was very silly. I understand that's not the conversation would be that the person would be trained, would be armed. I personally don't want another area of my life that's militarized or has the possibility of more weapons being involved in it. And I would not want to be the teacher that it would have the responsibility of feeling like I would have to use that weapon. I'm saddened that we're still having this conversation and that it's gotten to the point where it feels like we're trying to solve a problem at the end of it with gun control instead of looking at it at the beginning and saying, what are the mental health issues? How can we help the people around us that we see suffering? But I am thankful that we are discussing gun control and that is part of the conversation. So my frustration would be that might be the easy thing to address because it's the most obvious, but I would like us to have the harder conversations.